Hello class, today we are going to talk about the element of art, shape, and learn how to work with it. Skill Builder 2. So within the assignment, there are 2 try it exercises and 2 drawing activities. All of these get posted to Google Classroom, please, as images. Please do not put them in a doc. Post them as image files. So what shape is? It's area enclosed by line. So lines have to go around an area and meet in order to enclose it, like this part here, the kind of teardrop shape. It's two-dimensional, and there are 2 types of shape that we work with in art, and that is geometric and organic. So how we see shape, your eyes take in visual information, and the first thing we see when we look at anything is the edge of an object, and our brain reads those as lines. And then they are connected together, the lines, and they create basic geometric shapes, which are known as geons. And then we see that shape, and we recognize the pattern, and we can identify it as an object. So when you're perceiving shape, it involves looking at shapes, forms, and patterns together. So when you look at this image, what do you see first? Do you see the arrows or the man walking? The arrows are white, and the man walking is black. You see there's his head, there's one arm, his body, his other arm, a long leg and foot, and a bent leg and foot. Figure-ground relationship is the difference between shape and the surroundings. So if it is a real 3-dimensional object, you can easily separate that from the background, but sometimes images can be read in different ways, as equal or harmonized. So the figure-ground relationship, you can look at this and you're probably seeing the 3-dimensional object first, which is kind of a vase thing. But then if you look closer and you notice the space around it, when it comes in, it looks like 2 faces looking at each other. See, there's a nose, eye, forehead, mouth, chin. They're not quite symmetrical, but they're close. In the figure-ground relationship, if it is an equal relationship, that means both the positive, the background, and the object are equal. You get things like this. So when you look at the logo, do you see a person with a golf club, or do you see a Roman warrior? If you're looking for the person with the golf club, this is a golf club. This is the person holding it and swinging it, and then this is the trajectory of the swing. If you're looking for the Roman warrior, this is the crest on the helmet, and then that's his eye, his nose, his mouth, and his chin. If the figure-ground relationship is harmonized, everything kind of blends together, and you have to work a whole lot harder to see things. So, how many horses do you see? Think about it for a minute, and then we're going to count the horses. If you said you saw 5 horses, you are correct. Here's a horse, there's his face, neck, legs, and then you get to the butt of this horse, and there's her face, and then there is another horse right here. See, there's their face. They're behind this horse. And here's a horse. And then here's a little baby colt. Pareidolia is very cool. It's a process of seeing shapes and putting it together in objects with our brain so that we see things that are not really there because we read it as different ways. They just kind of stick things into the same category, and you say, okay, well, this is this or this is that. So look at the pictures and figure out which one is a dog and which one is a bagel. A bagel is like a donut-shaped piece of bread if you haven't had it. And you can see if you start at the top, every other one is a dog, but they are kind of curled up sleeping next to pretty much their bagel twins, especially this top one. You know, dog and bagel look very similar. Dog, bagel, bagel, dog, bagel, dog, etc. That's basic image recognition, but this is how it works on the computer. So facial recognition technology maps the contours of your face. And so the first thing it does is turn your face into points, like a little dotted line around things. And those points have a value, X or Y, assigned on an axis, just like you do points and lines and things in math. And then the lines between those have a certain relationship, and those lines create spaces. Okay? So you start out with the dots, you connect the dots into lines, and then those lines connect into spaces. And that creates a unique algorithm for your face. Your face has a very specific mathematical formula that means you. And then when computers do facial recognition, they take that algorithm and compare it to other images, and when it matches, it's you. So what this means is it's being used in a few different ways. For example, if you use a social media site and then say something happens and you vanish and people can't find you, they can run your algorithm through Facebook or whatever, and it will show up every picture of you, whether you took it or not, whether you know about it or not. So they can see, you know, where you were and who you were with. They can run it through security cameras, and it will find you. They no longer have to really sit and look at hours and hours and hours of film to see if they can see you walking to your car, but they can run the algorithms and the computer automatically recognizes you. This is what's used for facial unlocking of doors and phones and things of that nature, and lots of other security checks, lots of other reasons. And you can't really change it. That's why if you are going into witness protection or something like that, you can change, you know, your surface appearance by changing your style, your hair color, whatever. But unless you have constructive plastic surgery where they actually change the shape of your face, you could still be recognized by technology. Organic shapes are irregular shapes. They're variable. They're natural objects. And I want you to draw the organic shapes on the right. So I'm moving on with the presentation, but go back to the slideshow and draw all 9 of these. They don't need to be large, but it gets you into the idea of what abstract type organic shapes are. They aren't always abstract though. You're an organic shape, a tree's an organic shape, a dog's an organic shape. Geometric shapes though are regular shapes. Those can be defined by mathematical formulas. Every circle in the world has 360 degrees. Triangles are 180. Squares are also 360 degrees because they have 4 right angles. Your basic geometric shapes are the circle, square, and triangle, but there are a bunch of geometric shapes. So this is super easy. Draw and label these 3 basic geometric shapes. And then I want you to try this activity, which is drawing the hand with geometric shapes. When you are drawing things that you're not familiar with, it can really help to break it down into basic geometric shapes because those are easy to draw. Circle, square, triangle, and then even cylinders and parallelograms and things of that nature. So copy this hand and notice how and where the basic shapes are, and then photograph it and post it to Classroom. So here, the wrist joint is symbolized by a not quite complete circle where your fingers join into your hand. You have the circles for those knuckles. Fingers are cylinders. Make sure you count so you have enough on there. Thumbs are 2, okay, because this part down here that's the triangle, that's really where the other part of the thumb is. And when you wiggle your thumb around, you can see where that bone is, where it meets your hand at the very bottom. The rest of your fingers, it's easy to see the 3 divisions, okay? And then what you're going to do is also copy the figure that's made of artist shape. This is an artist mannequin. Sometimes we use these in class. They're used to imitate body movements. If you don't have a model, you can move it around because where all the little joints are, it will actually move. And it's a very easy, simple way to draw the human figure and learn how to do that. What is important when you're drawing both the hand and this is to measure and see the relative size of things. How long is that head compared to the torso? Okay, the upper torso, the chest. Shoulder to shoulder of this part of the chest is also as long as the head. Okay? And then, measure the length of the upper arm is this long. The length of this arm is the same. Where do the hands fit? When you're drawing, check it against itself in order to check your proportion. All right? Short lesson today, but important. So please draw these and post them to Google Classroom.